Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is potentially repeating history, while Ethereum is forming multiple new patterns in the short term, and Solana is massively breaking out to the upside, heading towards a bullish price target, which I'll talk about later in the video, so make sure to watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin has not yet invalidated the bearish divergence, but has also not yet invalidated the bullish trend. And so what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, on the daily time frame, once again, at least for now, we are still technically within this bullish trend, forming higher lows and higher highs. But obviously, during a bullish trend, we can see short-term sideways consolidations or even short-term pullbacks during a bullish trend. It's not only bullish price action. For example, like what we usually see in bearish trends, of course, we can see some slight pumps in the price of Bitcoin here and there during a bearish trend. And so once again, in terms of the trend in the price of Bitcoin on the daily chart, technically we are still currently bullish, but of course, just in the shorter term, we've seen a bit of a short-term pause from that bullish trend due to this bearish divergence, because once again, a bearish divergence means that we're due to see a reduced bullish momentum, at least in the somewhat shorter term. And so usually these bearish divergences play out in the form of either choppy sideways price action, which is what we've seen just here, or potentially sometimes they can play out in the form of a pullback in the price of Bitcoin. But once again, at least for now, so far this bearish divergence has played out in the form of choppy sideways price action, which is one of the most common outcomes from a bearish divergence. And staying on the daily time frame, if we're taking a look at the DXY or US dollar index, which is the red line right here, obviously at least for now, this is still currently trending in the bearish direction. And so while this is still the case, while the DXY is still forming lower highs and lower lows, of course, I'm still bullish on the price of Bitcoin in terms of the trend on the daily time frame. But remember, a bullish trend can contain some short-term bearish moves here and there. Of course, it's not 100% only bullish price action. It just simply means higher lows and higher highs. So trending more in the bullish direction than the bearish direction. And just taking a quick look at the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, of course, once again, over the last few days, we've seen another perfect bounce from this line of support, which was sitting at around 40.8k, but right now this support is sitting at around 41.3k. And so basically, if we do end up seeing another decent pullback in the price of Bitcoin, once again, I would expect a decent amount of support around that level. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term, looking at the 2-hour Bitcoin chart, of course, over the last few days, once again, we've seen a breakout above this area, which was acting as resistance, sitting in between around 43.1k going up towards around 43.4k. And at least as of right now, this has been acting as a bit of short-term support for the price of Bitcoin, like what we saw back here. And also, just like what we saw back here, of course, we have recently formed two highs in the price of Bitcoin in the shorter term here, which is a potential double top. And as you can see, we saw something very similar just back here. Of course, we saw two highs in the price of Bitcoin, somewhat similar to each other, forming a double top in the price of Bitcoin, at least in the short term here. And basically, the bearish confirmation signal was as soon as we broke below this area right here with confirmation, that was the bearish confirmation signal, basically confirming the double top and confirming that we're entering into more of a pullback. And so once again, at least for now, we still have this area of support, which we could bounce at, because right now we have not yet broken below this area of support. But if we do end up repeating history and actually break below this area of support with confirmation, for example, candle closes back below around 43.1k, then in that case, once again, that could potentially repeat history for Bitcoin, meaning we could see a little bit more of a pullback in the short term here. But remember, even in that scenario, of course, this is just on the 2-hour chart. So when you zoom out to the daily time frame, obviously that's just still playing out a lot of choppy sideways price action here on the daily chart as a result of that bearish divergence. And another potential warning signal that we need to pay attention to is the funding rates, not just for Bitcoin, but a lot of other altcoins as well. Right now, the funding rates across multiple different exchanges are quite overheated. And so in case you're new to this channel, all you need to know is basically when the funding rates are this high, above 0.01%, it means a lot of people in the market are longing crypto. And so essentially there's high premiums to long crypto right now, which basically means there's a lot of people really bullish and not that many people really bearish on the market. And so essentially the short positions that are taking shorts on these trading pairs right here are basically basically getting paid a bunch of money in funding rates because the long positions pay the short positions if the funding rates are this positive. And so basically these overheated funding rates act as an incentive to close long positions and open short positions. And of course, when you close a long position, that adds selling pressure to the market. And when you open a short position, that also adds selling pressure to the market. And so of course, if there's an incentive to add selling pressure to the market, once again, that is a potential warning signal that we need to pay attention to. And so essentially, if we break below this short-term area of support here in the price of Bitcoin, then due to these overheated funding rates, if we end up seeing that bearish confirmation signal, then once again, we will likely see a decent pullback, at least in the short term, possibly down towards this level of support sitting at around 41.9k. And if we break below that low right there, then once again, we have this major area of support just here sitting in between around 40.7k going up towards around 41k. And we also have this line of support sitting at around 41.3k. But remember, I would only start looking at those lower price levels if we first see a confirmed break below this area of support, so below around 43.1k. And if you want to take these trades in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I trade over on Bybit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And in fact, if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make a Bitflex account and deposit $100 worth of crypto and make one trade over on Bitflex, you can get 10 USDT completely for free. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trade, then you might as well get set up or ready to go on an exchange using those links down below this video if you want to claim those extra bonuses in the meantime. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily time frame, and at least as of right now, once again, we have not yet confirmed a bearish trend reversal, so at least for now, we're still technically in this bullish trend. But just like Bitcoin on the daily chart, technically speaking, we also now have a bearish divergence, which is still active here on the daily time frame. And so once again, this bearish divergence simply means that we're due to see a reduced bullish momentum, at least in the short term, which so far has been playing out in the form of a lot of choppy sideways price action and even a slight pullback since when this bearish divergence confirmed. But so far, this area right here has been acting as major support, which was previous resistance, and this is still sitting in between around 2.1k to 2150, once again acting as support. And as for other support levels here on the 8-hour time frame, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, these support levels have not changed over the last few days. So if you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last few videos here on the channel. And just staying on the 8-hour time frame, of course, right now we still have this falling wedge pattern with lower highs and lower lows in the price of ETH on the 8-hour time frame. And as usual, a falling wedge pattern is known as a bullish pattern because roughly around 2/3 of the time a falling wedge breaks out to the upside, and about 1/3 of the time a falling wedge breaks to the downside. And so obviously it is not impossible to see a falling wedge break to the downside, but that is simply the less likely scenario. Technically, it's more likely to break out to the upside. But either way, in order to actually confirm the bullish price target in play, we need to see a confirmed breakout above this resistance, which by the way, this resistance is sitting at around 2240 to 2250, and this support is sitting at around 2140. And so if we end up seeing a confirmed breakout above around 2240, then in that case, looking at the technical price target, that's simply around the top of the wedge, which is sitting close towards around 2.4k. And so from where we are right now, which is close to a potential breakout to that price target, that's roughly around a 6% move to the upside, which could be coming soon if we first confirm a breakout above this resistance. And so as I explained in my recent videos here on the channel over the last few days, I do have a short-term trading strategy when it comes to this breakout right here. And that breakout trading strategy is to essentially enter into a long position once we confirm a breakout above this resistance. And then as always, place a stop loss back below the point of invalidation so that if we break out and then break back to the downside below that line right there, that would invalidate the breakout to the upside and hit the stop loss. And essentially worry as the trade continues further into profits. In this scenario, of course, I'd move my stop loss at least up to break even, up to my entry price, and ideally into profits as the trade continues further into profits. And as for a take profit for this potential trade, once again, I will place a take profit just before the technical price target in case we don't hit the complete technical price target. But that potential take profit right there will not close 100% of the trade. Personally, I'll close a lot of the trade around that price target, but I'll keep a small amount of the trade remaining open in case we continue further to the upside beyond the price target. And once again, in that scenario, I'll just continue moving my stop loss further into profits so that when we eventually see a pullback, of course, that will just trigger my stop loss and exit me out of the trade. But remember, while the price of ETH has not yet confirmed a breakout above this resistance, of course, at least as of right now, I have not yet taken this trade. And so there is still time to get set up ready to go on an exchange. Once again, if you use those links down below this video, you can claim those extra bonuses if you want to prepare for the next trade, but not financial advice. And now if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 2-hour time frame, right now the price of ETH is also forming an ascending triangle pattern with somewhat horizontal highs and ascending lows. And right now this horizontal line of resistance is sitting at around 2250 approximately, with this line of support currently sitting at around 2180. And so if we end up seeing a further rejection from this short-term resistance, once again, we could potentially bounce at around 2180 approximately. But as of right now, at the time of recording this video, the price of ETH is getting very close to a possible breakout. And if we end up seeing a confirmed breakout above that resistance, then looking at the technical price target for this pattern right here, that would set up a bullish price target if we break resistance, and that price target sitting at around 2380. And so from the point of the breakout to that price target, that's roughly around a 5 to 6% move to the upside. So very similar to that falling wedge pattern here on the 8-hour time frame. And so once again, right now, we're simply just waiting for those confirmation signals of a confirmed breakout above resistance in order to set up the next price target. And speaking about breaking above resistance and setting up bullish price targets, of course, over the last one day, this is exactly what we have seen here for the price of Solana. And this chart right here is on the 4-hour time frame, the 4-hour Solana to US dollar chart. And I covered this chart in my last video when the price of Solana was right around here at around $80. And as I said in my last video here on the channel, the price of Solana was getting very close to potentially a major breakout. And I mentioned right back down here that if the price simply breaks out above this level just here, then we will likely see a major breakout in the price of Solana going up towards this technical price target, which was sitting at around $94. And obviously, that's pretty much exactly what we have seen over the last one day as expected. And so if you simply watched my last video here on the channel and took this trade without any leverage from that breakout to this price target, that was around a 16 to 17% move to the upside over the last one day. Or for example, if you took this trade with 10x leverage, that would have been around a 160 to 170% profit, more than doubling your money, almost tripling your money, making massive gains in a single day. And so this is why it is important to subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. Because once again, if you watched my last update video here on the channel, you could have potentially taken this massive trade. But at least as of right now, the price of Solana could be running into a bit of short-term resistance around this price target. So once again, around $94 to $95, we do have some short-term resistance. And as for support, I would expect this line right here now acting as support at around $81 approximately. And if we're zooming out on the larger time frames, looking at the 3-day Solana to US dollar chart, what we have now seen is a breakout above the important golden pocket, because this golden pocket was sitting in between around $69 going up towards around $77. And so far, we have now seen one 3-day candle close above $77. And now, once again, we could be running into a bit of short-term resistance right around here, but basically the next significant level of resistance on the larger time frames is sitting closer towards around $120. And around that level, and also around this previous high at around $140, we should have a decent amount of resistance. But if the price of Solana breaks out above $140, then above that level, there's basically a clean run up towards the all-time high. And so like I've been saying for a while now on the channel, and since all the way back down here over on my Twitter, of course, I am very bullish here on the price of Solana ever since this bullish breakout from this bullish ascending triangle pattern. And now remember, even though I'm very bullish here on the larger timeframes on the trend, of course, we can still see short-term pullbacks here and there. That's always a possibility. And so personally, I would not be opening a new highly leveraged long position right here after we've just seen a major pump. But with that being said, once again, on the larger timeframes, I'm still definitely leaning bullish in terms of the larger trend. But if you want to know how you can profit from crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or simply chopping around sideways, you can profit in either of those scenarios by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can make money if the price is bullish or bearish using longs and shorts, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.